Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Week 5 of the NCAA college football season. 4 weeks in. Week 4, I went 15-6 on the win-loss, 10-9 against the spread, 9-10 on the over-under, which brings me to a year-to-date total of 61-12 on the win-loss, 40-27 against the spread, 37-30 on the over-under. All right, week 5, we start off with the 14th ranked Miami Hurricanes 2-0 versus the Duke Blue Devils 4-0. A big ACC Coastal Division matchup. Hurricanes this is their first ACC matchup of the year, while Blue Devils are 1-0 in the ACC. Miami has a point differential of plus 50, and while the Blue Devils have a point differential of plus 101. Obviously, the Blue Devils playing in 2 more games. Miami is favored by 6.5 on the road. I'm going to start out here with possibly an upset pick. I don't think a 4-0 team beating a 2-0 team is an upset, but you know. So the line is Miami 6.5. I'm giving the 6.5 to Duke. I got Duke winning, covering the 6.5 and under on the 56.5. Next, we have the Murray State Racers at 1-3 versus the 17th ranked Louisville Cardinals at 3-1. Louisville's 2-0 in the ACC. This is not an ACC matchup, so I have them just winning. There was no line on it because it's an FBS game. Next, we have Florida State Seminoles at 0-2 versus the 4-0 Wake Forest Demon Deacons at ACC Atlantic matchup. Florida is 0-1 in the ACC this year, while Wake Forest is 1-0. Florida is favored by 7.5 on the road. I'm giving the 7.5 to Wake Forest. I got Wake Forest winning, covering the 7.5 and over on the 47. Next, we have the second-ranked Clemson Tigers at 4-0 versus the 12th-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies at 4-0. A ACC Atlantic versus Coastal matchup here. Clemson 2-0 in the ACC. There was some talk that it would be bad for college football for Clemson and Alabama to meet in the national championship game for a second straight year. I don't think it would be bad, especially at Clemson, because of them losing Deshaun Watson to the Houston Texans, and they were still able to win and be there. I mean, it's amazing that you can lose players and still be there. That's what's so amazing about college, is the recruiting and just the influx of new and better talent. I have Clemson winning, covering the 7.5 and over on the 51.5. Next, out of the Big 12, we have the 15th ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys at 3-1 versus the Texas Tech Red Raiders at 3-0. Oklahoma State is 0-1 in the Big 12. Now, if they have any hopes of being in that Big 12 title game this year, they're going to throw the table. The way Oklahoma's playing, one loss in the Big 12 might, as long as you dominate the rest of your season, you might be second behind Oklahoma and then be in the title game. If you want any shot at making the playoffs, the Cowboys are going to have to win out. They're favored by 8.5 on the road. I do have them winning, covering the 8.5 and under on the 81. Next, we have out of the Big 10, we have the Northwestern Wildcats at 2-1 versus the 10th ranked Wisconsin Badgers at 3-0. This is their first Big 10 matchup of the year, Big 10 West matchup here. For both schools, their first Big 10 match of the year. Wisconsin's favored by 14.5 at home. I have them winning, I have them covering and taking over on the 51.5. Another Big 10 matchup, we have the Maryland Terrapins 2-1 versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers 3-0. Again, both these teams' first Big 10 matchup of the year. It's vital to get start off good in your conference season. Minnesota's favored by 10.5 at home. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 47. Next, Big 10 East matchup, we have the Indiana Hoosiers at 2-1 versus the 4th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions at 4-0. Penn State is 1-0 in the Big 10, while Indiana is 0-1. Penn State Penn State is favored by 17 at home. I got them winning. I got them covering the 17 over Indiana. In 4 games, Penn State's defense gave up 33 points. Their offense has scored 162 points. So I'm not sure Indiana's going to be able to keep up with them either way. So I got them covering the 17 and over on the 61. Next, ACC East matchup. We have SEC East matchup. Excuse me. I have the Vanderbilt Commodores 3-1 versus the 24th ranked Florida Gators at 2-1. Florida is already 2-0 in the SEC this year, while Vandy's 0-1. Florida's favored by 10 at home. I got them winning, covering it over on the 42.5. Next, out of the SEC East, we have the 7th ranked Georgia Bulldogs at 4-0 versus the 3-1 Tennessee Volunteers. Georgia's 1-0. Tennessee is 0-1 in the conference this year. So far, Georgia, favored by a touchdown on the road. I get them winning, covering it under on the 47. Another SEC West matchup. We have the 24th ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs 3-1 versus the 13th ranked Auburn Tigers 3-1. Auburn's favored by 10 at home here. Looks like Mississippi's 1-1 in the. Mississippi State is 1-1 in conference, while Auburn is 1-0. I got Auburn winning. I got Mississippi State covering the 10 and under on the 48. Out of the SEC West, we have the Ole Miss Rebels at 2-1 versus the number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide at 4-0. That Alabama juggernaut just keeps on. 1-0 in the SEC. They're favored by 27.5 at home. I have them winning, covering. Excuse me. I have Alabama winning, and I have Ole Miss covering in 27.5, and I'm taking under on the 59. Next, the 5th ranked USC Trojans at 4-0 versus the 16th ranked Washington State Cougars at 4-0. Pac-12 North versus South matchup. The Trojans are 2-0 in the Pac-12, while the Washington State Cougars are 1-0 in the Pac-12. USC is favored by 3.5 on the road. Giving the 3.5 to Washington State. I got the Cougars winning, covering the 3.5 and under on the 65. And last but not least, out of the out of the Pac-12 North Division, we have the 6th ranked Washington Huskies at 4-0 versus the Oregon State Beavers at 2-2. The Huskies are 1-0 in conference, while Beavers are 0-1. Washington's favored by 26.5 on the road. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 63. So that will wrap up Week 5 of the NCAA college football season. As always, thanks for watching the Rubber Sports Show. Don't just have a great night. Have a spiffy night. Rubber Sports Show. Your YouTube leader in sports channel content.